go with a public option. We didn't do a big job creation bill. We didn't roll back the Bush tax cuts, extend it to the middle class. We didn't do it, on and on and on. And now I think we're not burdened with that vulnerability protection. I think we need to push forward, and I think the response by the American people for the minority party in this case is going to increase and increase, and I think that support's going to be needed in 212.
Congressman, I'd like to ask you in terms of this battle over the agenda now that will occur not only in Congress, but obviously the administration. President Obama has to decide how he is going to move forward. One of the things I noted in the first few days before and after the election is this discussion of education reform as becoming the way that Republicans and the White House can work together. Haley Barbour talked about it, saying, hey, if you want to talk about charter schools or performance pay for teachers, the Republicans are ready to make deals. And President Arne Duncan said similar things yesterday, that he believes that there's a room to move together Democrats and Republicans around education reform. Will the what some people consider the dismantling of public education become sort of the New Deal that the Obama administration tries to make with Republicans, as Bill Clinton tried after the 1994 elections to make welfare reform the way to win back some popularity? Is your sense that this is beginning to shape up this way?
Yeah, that's my sense and also my concern, to be quite honest, in that we had an opportunity to reauthorize elementary and secondary education. We didn't do that. Now we go back to a session in which the Republicans are going to control the Education and Labor Committee, which I'm a member, and to deal with the issues that we already rejected. We told Secretary Duncan that his 4 prescriptions for fixing schools, which were essentially to privatize, close them, we rejected them as a caucus of that committee, as a Democratic caucus. I see those coming back on the table, and what essentially it does, it makes when 80 to 90% of the kids going through school in this country are coming from urban and poor communities, and this is the time we invest in public education. So, yeah, I see that as a place where people are going to look at a common agenda between Republicans and the White House, but I also see it as could be for public education very, very slippery slope, and we have to be very cautious and very protective of public education and as one of the agenda items.
Republican leaders are vowing to repeal the Democrats' signature health care law. This is Ohio Republican John Boehner, again expected to be the next Speaker of the House, speaking at his news conference yesterday.
I believe that the health care bill that was enacted by the current Congress will kill jobs in America, ruin the best health care system in the world, and bankrupt our country. That means that we have to do everything we can to try to repeal this bill and replace it with common sense reforms that will bring down the cost of health insurance.
Meanwhile, President Obama delivered his first public comments on the election results Wednesday with a news conference at the White House. This is what he said about health care reform.
You know, when I talk to a woman from New Hampshire who doesn't have to mortgage her house because she got cancer and is seeking treatment, but now is able to get health insurance. When I talk to parents who are relieved that their child with a pre-existing condition can now stay on their policy until they're 26 years old and give them a time to transition to find a job that will give them health insurance, or the small businesses that are now taking advantage of the tax credits that are provided, then I say to myself, this was the right thing to do. Now, if the Republicans have ideas for how to improve our healthcare system, if they want to suggest modifications that would deliver faster and more effective reform to a healthcare system that has been wildly expensive for too many families and businesses, and certainly for our federal government, I'm happy to consider some of those ideas.
There was President Obama at his news conference saying he took a shellacking, and he was sorry to the Congress members who lost their jobs, their seats, as a result of these midterm elections. But Congressmember Grijalva, what about health care?
No, I think that's going to be a very important battle line. There's no question that we need to polish this health care reform bill. There are things in it that need to be changed. They need to be modified, as the president said. But the wholesale repeal of it is a huge mistake. Within that bill, for many communities, is issues of attacking the issue of disparity, attacking the issue of equity when it comes to women and people of color, attacking the issue of Indian health care that had not been reauthorized in 10 years. So when you broadly talk about repeal, you're also talking about some significant gains that were made within that bill. If the Republicans want to talk about extending the benefit to more, we should be able to deal with that and talk about it. They're talking about modifications, of course. But if the issue is to undercut and sabotage any health care reform effort that we took in the last 2 years, then I think that needs to be a battle line.
We're going to break and then come back to this discussion. We're joined by the Tucson Congress member, Raúl Grijalva. He has probably just survived a very stiff challenge, though the counts are still coming in. His challenger says she will not concede until every last vote is counted. He's about up by 3,900 votes, Congressmember Ruth McClung. We are going to, in addition to Congressman Grijalva, co-chair of the Progressive Caucus, be joined by Ryan Grimm of Huffington Post talking about Republican strategy in the next 2 years. This is Democracy Now! Stay with us.